The letters beneath the oak. In a small countryside village in northern England, there stood a majestic oak tree in the heart of a meadow. Locals often said it was a place of memories, of secrets whispered to the wind, and of love stories carved into time. It was beneath this very tree that Emma Wells found the first letter. Emma was a quiet soul, a librarian who had returned to the village after the passing of her grandmother. She inherited her grandmother's cottage, a quaint little home with creaky wooden floors, a garden of wild roses, and shelves full of dusty books. One crisp autumn morning, while wandering near the oak with a book in hand, she noticed something sticking out of a knothole in the trunk. Curious, she pulled out an old envelope addressed simply to "My dearest." The letter was dated 1971. It spoke of longing, of memories under the stars, of a love that waited but never found its end. Emma was enchanted. She returned the next day and found another letter. Then another, each one tucked carefully into the tree, telling the story of two lovers, William, a young poet, and Eliza, the daughter of a wealthy landowner. Their love, forbidden and passionate, was kept alive only through letters left beneath the oak. Emma couldn't stop reading. She felt drawn to William's words, his pain, and the devotion that spanned years. The letter stopped in 1975, with one final message: "If I could turn back time, I would choose you again, always." Determined to uncover the truth, Emma began to investigate. She searched local archives, spoke to elders in the village, and discovered that William had once lived there. He was a schoolteacher who had left town mysteriously. Eliza, it turned out, was forced to marry another and move to London. No one knew what became of their love. One day, as snow began to fall, Emma found herself beneath the oak again, a letter of her own in hand. She didn't know why, but she felt the need to write. To William, to Eliza, to the story that had captured her heart. "Dear William," she wrote, "I don't know if you or Eliza are still in this world, but your love has not been forgotten. It's alive in the air, in the rustling leaves, in every word you wrote. And in me." She left it in the tree and walked away. 2 weeks later, she returned, and to her shock, found a reply. The handwriting was elegant, old-fashioned. "Thank you for remembering us. Sometimes love needs a witness to be real again." Underneath, the note was signed, W. Emma's heart raced. She didn't know how to explain it. Had someone read her letter? Was it a village prank? Or something else? She never found out. But the letters kept coming, every month, a new one from W, sometimes recalling memories, sometimes offering words of comfort, and eventually, asking about her. About her dreams, her fears, her heart. Over time, Emma replied. What began as curiosity grew into a bond. She shared stories of her childhood, of her loneliness, of her hope to one day fall in love like William and Eliza had. Months passed. Then a year. Then 2. On a rainy afternoon, a letter arrived not in the tree, but at her doorstep. "Emma," it read, "I've watched the seasons change with you. I've felt your heart in your words, your soul in your silence. It's time we meet." The letter led her to a quiet cafe on the edge of town. Nervous, she walked in, and there he was. Not William, of course, but a man named Thomas. A historian, in his early 40s, who had also been researching the story of William and Eliza. He had found the letters years ago but never shared them until he saw Emma reading one. He had fallen in love, not only with the story but with the woman who saw it the way he did. Emma stood there, stunned. But in his eyes, she saw something she hadn't expected: understanding, familiarity, and hope. They talked for hours. About William. About Eliza. About themselves. And beneath the same oak tree where a love story had once bloomed and faded, a new one began. whispers beneath the willow tree. In a small, tranquil village nestled between emerald hills and golden wheat fields, there lived a young woman named Alara. She was known for her kindness, her laughter that echoed like wind chimes in spring, and the way she sat beneath the old willow tree by the river, always writing in her worn-out journal. Alara loved stories, ones of distant lands, of magic, and most of all, of love. But while she dreamed of romance on the pages she wrote, she had never truly experienced it herself. Not until one autumn evening, when the sky blushed with the colors of fading sunlight, and a stranger came walking down the path toward the village. His name was Aiden. A traveling painter, quiet and observant, with gentle eyes that held entire sunsets. He was looking for peace, for something real, something he'd lost long ago in the chaos of the cities. And the moment he saw Alara under that willow tree, he knew he'd found what he was searching for. At first, they only exchanged smiles. Then came small conversations, about art, about books, about the way the river always seemed to sing when no one else was around. Alara showed him the hidden paths through the forest, and he painted her portraits beneath the falling leaves. Days turned into weeks. The air grew colder, but their hearts grew warmer. Aiden would bring her coffee, and she would bring him stories. Together, they created a world of their own, filled with laughter, with silence that spoke volumes, and with the slow, soft unfolding of love. One night, under a sky full of stars, Aiden took her hand and said, "You're the story I never thought I'd find." Alara smiled. "And you're the brushstroke that finished my painting." But love, as it always does, was not without its trials. Aiden received news. His mother, back in the city, had fallen ill. He had to return, uncertain of when he could come back. The night before he left, they met beneath the willow, where it all began. "I will come back," he whispered. "This is not goodbye." "I'll wait," Alara replied, pressing a small paper into his hand, a page from her journal with the words, "Our love is not bound by time or distance. It's a river that always flows back home." Seasons changed. The willow stood tall through wind and snow, and Alara waited, writing letters she never sent, always keeping hope alive in her heart. Then, one spring morning, when the cherry blossoms returned, so did he. Older, a little tired, but still with the same eyes that held sunsets. He walked to the tree, where Alara was waiting, a journal still in her hands, but now with one extra seat beside her. They didn't need words. Their hands found each other. And the river sang once more.